Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of Action Awareness, I want to talk about Eternal Hero of the Warriors. This is one of only 2 warrior cards that doesn't use the word monster. This is a shame, as this is a really interesting action that would do well in another faction, and I'm worried that, by trying to create unique cards, this concept may not be explored again for a while, if at all. Eternal Hero is a play on minion action that has the ongoing ability: when this minion goes to the discard pile, place it and this action into your hand instead. Eternal Hero is a mix between an escape hatch type of card and a jetpack of anachronism. But what makes it really interesting is that the hero is not just eternal, so is the action itself. As the hero is resurrected, this card goes along for the ride. It can still be destroyed or have its ability cancelled, which would force it to go to the discard pile, but assuming your opponents don't have a card like that, or you have a way of preventing it, this card is truly eternal. This presents a unique opportunity to allow powerful engine-style cards to be used over the long term while still being base breakers. You no longer need to worry about having to camp your engines on other bases because you can get your engine back. As long as your minion's ability isn't power counter or action based, you have nothing to lose. In fact, I would explore the opportunity to use it on non-power minions because you can go a different route from maximum power: maximum annoyance. Let's take a power-based minion for comparison, the Elder Thing. Getting access to your Elder Thing again is great, but it will cost you 2 minions again. Instead, I think Eternal Hero functions like a Dr. Wen, but with the opposite targets. The same principles apply: minions without attachments or counters, but instead of on-playability, we want ongoing or talents. This is because the Eternal Hero is designed to protect and perpetuate your best minions, and your best minions are the biggest targets. There are certain Omega Protocol minions that must be dealt with as soon as they come out. Sometimes this means breaking and losing a base just to get them off the field. Eternal Hero protects against that. Imagine playing against spies when the secret agent is out for the entire game. Anytime you try to kill it, you just get a 1-turn reprieve if you're lucky, and he's out again next turn. Waiting for Eliza to go away so you can unblock your extra minion plays? Think again. Queen Fluffy will truly have at least 9 lives, and Whiskers will help obliterate your minions. If there's going to be a card that you save your disenchants for, this is definitely going to be a candidate. But to use this card, you have to play with warriors. So what does this card mean to them? The warriors themselves do not have many logical candidates for resurrection. The Berserkers and Taunters have forgettable on-play abilities and aren't worthy of a card of this power. Also, given that these minions have multiple copies of themselves, they are inherently replaceable, and this type of action should be typically saved for someone much more rare. The star player is a key aspect of the warrior strategy, but to bring the card back to your hand forfeits the power counters. While it would be good to have a 3rd instance of that card, you may have already used a number of cards that made the star player powerful in the first place. Instead, I think this card, for warriors at least, should be reserved for the big hero. The big hero is the warrior's stall tactic, adding monsters to delay the base before subtracting their power when the time is right. He adds the monsters needed to facilitate powering up your star player, but you only have 1 Ruckus, the best card for facilitating a large monster swing. And by repeating the big hero, the game slows down to the point of maximizing your stall tactic. And that's where the card starts to break down for me. I'm not thrilled with any of my options for the warrior minions, and to get this ability, I have to use a faction that doesn't excite me. I think Eternal Hero is a great action that got paired with the wrong faction. If you look at just the ability, what faction comes to mind? Honestly, this seems like the perfect cleric ability, a faction based on keeping your cards out of the discard pile, which is precisely what this does. If I didn't see the faction symbol on the card, I wouldn't have believed that this is a warrior card because it seems out of place with their faction. If I'm being really honest, I double-checked it just before I prepared this video in case I was wrong all this time. As I mentioned before, Eternal Hero is the only card other than Dumbbells that doesn't mention monsters, which is surprising because this is the type of action you can build a strategy around. Let's pretend that it was a cleric action instead. Place this on your cardinal, and you would have full access to your cards almost the entire game. One of the cardinal weaknesses is that he can't resurrect himself, but Eternal Hero solves that. And if you were to lose Eternal Hero, the cardinal can grab that back when you have 5 or more cards. Not only is this a better mechanical fit, but thematically, the concept of eternity seems more in line with the clerics than the warriors. Can we solve this problem by just pairing warriors with clerics? Not exactly, because the clerics have 3 unfortunate cards that do not mix with the warriors. The clerics have some cards that grant power bonuses to minions regardless of controller or owner, which unfortunately includes monsters. As these factions lack the means to play additional actions, it will be difficult for the warriors to destroy monsters that have been buffed up, even if it would make for a more effective war cry. Good Habits is one of those cards, and the clerics aren't known for their extra minion plays, so this comes across as more of an elf card than a cleric card, and it's taking up a spot for the clerics, preventing them from taking Eternal Hero from the warriors. There's a contingent of players who are disappointed when cards are carbon copies of one another, but I think that Eternal Hero deserves another chance. Currently, it's buried in what I suspect is the least played expansion, in a faction that some of the Munchkin fans tend to ignore. Warriors are, unfortunately, the faction I am least likely to play at all. Many of you may not have even realized that this card exists. If Munchkin as a set was featured in the All-Stars faction, Eternal Hero would definitely be in my top 3 candidates for the action representative. Maybe there's still an opportunity for that down the road. In general, I just think that this was a missed opportunity, but the good news is that in the factions that have come since, Smash Up has done a great job of making every card intentional and cohesive. I want to know what you think. Should this have been a cleric card, or is there a special advantage for warriors that I'm not seeing? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.